friends, how's it going? Welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in, all that good stuff. So today I'm just going to tackle YouTube and motorcycle vlogging and all that good stuff, and why I think everyone that has a motorcycle should probably do it unless you hate it. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about why I started this channel, how I started it, how I do it, do I make money and all that good stuff. Just because I get asked that a lot of times when I talk to people the first time, and I tell them, oh, I got a YouTube channel and I'm going to make a video today, and you may be in it because we're going on a big group ride or something, and if you don't want to be in it, let me know so I can cut you out. I like to tell everybody that in advance, so I'm not filming people that don't want to be in my video. And then they'll ask me questions, and that's kind of what this is about. They'll ask me, why I started, how I started, is it hard, how do you edit, do you make money, all that stuff. So let's start off with why I started this channel. I started it during COVID in 2020, and I bought this motorcycle, and I have friends in different parts of the US and the world and whatnot, so people wanted to see it, and I didn't know, I said, well, why not just make a video? But then videos are too big to email people a lot of times, so I just said, well, let me just start a YouTube channel, and then give my friends and the link, and they can check it out, and I could do a walk around video of the bike. And so that was kind of like my first video, was just kind of to show my buddies like what I bought, because I haven't seen them in a long time, and we were all locked down during COVID. And I don't know, it was up for a little while, and then I checked on it and I saw that it had a number of views, not just my friends, and I thought, wow, I don't have that many friends. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. I started thinking about it, and then I said, this would be a really fun bike diary, my own personal bike diary, to record my adventures and all my all the things I do on my motorcycle. And so from that point until now, that's how I operate this channel. It's my own personal channel that I film what I want to film, that makes me happy. I don't have this channel to chase algorithms or to make money. I mean, the money's nice, of course, but my point was just to have this channel to record myself and my friends and people I meet and all that stuff. And that's kind of, if you've seen my videos before, that's kind of what I do. And some of my videos will get 100 views, and I know when I'm filming it that's what's going to happen, and I don't care, because that video's for me or my friends or some of the local riders around Austin that maybe I've interviewed or talked to. Those are for them. And then the local people here, the local riding group, get a kick out of watching the video. Maybe they'll say, oh, there's so-and-so, I know them, and oh, look that's when they had this old bike or whatever. So then, in other videos we'll get 10,000 views or 5,000 views or 1,000 views or whatever, and those again, I know that's probably going to happen, because it's a topic I know people are going to want to click on. And that's usually like if I buy anything for this bike and install it, I'll get quite a few views, because other people with an RS or people that are thinking about buying an RS will want to see, like, oh, how does that look on the RS, or how does that perform on the RS, or more importantly, did he put it on himself, and how difficult was it, like how do you do it? So I've been accused in comments sometimes of providing too much information, and I always do that because I can't assume that everyone watching knows what their level of knowledge is when it comes to motorcycles. I know there's some people that watch this that know way more than I do, and other people, maybe they don't even have a bike yet, but they're looking at an RS. And so I'll go through, if I install something, especially like this Chigee unit I have here up front, I moved the mounting bracket, and so I took off the side frame. I did lots of stuff. There's a lot of nuts and bolts and screws to the way I did it, and I showed pretty much every step of the way as clearly as possible so someone could replicate it. Because I've always been bummed out by some channels where I am am gonna buy something, or I do like everyone else. If I'm gonna buy something or want to do something to the bike, I try and find someone on YouTube that's already done it. And again, was it difficult? How did they do it themselves? And blah blah blah. And sometimes people just skip, like, oh yeah, just put that there and then stuck this here, and then now I got it. And I'm like, well, how did you get that part on there? So I just pretend everyone is as dumb as I am, and that's how I make my videos. But you have to, like, I think it's when I talk to people, I always tell them, do a YouTube channel, just do it. Make it your own personal diary, just to record your all the fun you have on the bike, and the different places you go, and the different friends you meet, and the rides you go on. It's really fun, and 10 years from now, you'll look back and be like, oh, that's cool, I remember that day, that was awesome. And you'll have footage of it for yourself and your family or friends or whatever. It's nice. And I have some friends that have multiple bikes. They've got a lot of bikes, and they're always changing and buying new ones, and they can always see videos like, there's my bike, that's the old bike I had, that's cool. Thinking about doing it is two different things. Doing it, obviously, there's cost involved. The first one is the upfront cost of actually buying the equipment that you're going to use to record these videos. And the more sophisticated you get, I try to keep it simple, but it's going to start off with a camera, or more than one camera, maybe a drone if you want aerial shots. If you're going to talk to people, I use my iPhone when I just videotape. Like if I interview somebody, I just use my iPhone. But on the bike, you got to have a dedicated camera, either a chin-mounted one, or you've got to figure out what views do you want to show on the bike. Let's go here. Woo! So that's going to be an upfront cost. Anywhere from $500 to $1,000 on different stuff. I use the Insta360 camera mounted up here on my bar, so I can get frontal shot of where I'm going, as well as a shot of me while I'm talking. And that's just one camera. And the nice thing about the 360, I've got the what version is mine? Mine's a X3, so it's older. They now have an X4, and an X5 is the newest one. But this one's pretty good. I mean, the only thing that's bad about this is if you want to zoom in on stuff, it gets really pixelated. It shoots in 4K, but even when you're using the 360 format, 360 degree format, it does pixelate when you zoom in on stuff. But the nice thing about the 360 is you got the whole view around you. So if something happens on your left or your right, when you go to edit, you can turn the camera to that spot and get it on, it's on your video. Whereas if you're using a GoPro or some other form of fixed camera on your chin here, you're only getting what's in front of you, or what you can actually turn your head and look at. So that's kind of a bummer. I would just go with a 360 camera, just one, just to keep the cost down. Then you need a program to edit. Now here's why I keep mine really simple. If you own an Apple computer, I just use the iMovie, which comes with your computer for free. I don't want to spend, if you go with Final Cut Pro, that's a few, like $300 to $400, I think, if I remember correctly. Adobe, there's a lot of film editing softwares that are very expensive and can do all kinds of cool things. But that's gonna, up your game on terms of, are you good at editing? Do you know how to edit? If you do, then yeah, you just use whatever you feel comfortable with, because you already know how to do it. But if you're not, like when in the beginning I started, I didn't really know how to edit, so I just found, iMovie's on my MacBook and it's free. Whew, it's getting a little toasty in there. So I had to learn how to use iMovie, and iMovie is ubiquitous, so you can go on YouTube and there's tons of people to show you how to use it, and it has all the features that I really need. The thing it can't do is doing multiple, like 3 or 4 different video feeds into one timetable, and then editing through those, and multiple audio channels. It can't really do that, but for my videos I don't really need that. So So camera, and then you got to, so let's go to the next step. So you got your camera, you're going to do it, you got a motorcycle, all that good stuff. You've got iMovie, you've got some other, like there's a DaVinci is a free program you can download, and I've tried it, and it has a lot more features than iMovie, but I just couldn't jive with it, and it kept crashing. So I don't know. I know there's a lot of people that use it and like it, and I think it might be possibly that, and I don't know if this is a fact, but it could be that people running Microsoft Windows programs or operating systems have a better experience with that. I'm not sure. But anyway, so you got all the equipment, you're ready to do it. Now the next question is, people ask me sometimes, is the editing. And how do you actually produce the end product of the video? And that's where I'm not going to lie, editing is a time suck. It's very time consuming to edit, especially if you do it like I do. I use the get away from this guy. I use some of the features in iMovie, like picture-in-picture, and like, for example, if I'm talking about something, I'll put a little box up in the window, a floating box that's letting you know what I'm talking about, or I'll put in titles or fades, and so I do a lot of editing, and it takes a lot of time. So like if I've got a 15-minute video that you've watched on YouTube, that probably took me like 2 or 3 hours to actually finish it. So it's not, you really got to enjoy doing it, and I think you have to be kind of a creative person in terms of putting the video into a timeline and cutting like what's not necessary, what's necessary, and the more you do it, the better you get at it, and using all the different things that are in iMovie. Like I said, it's limited, but there's still a lot of cool stuff, in terms of speeding a video up, slowing it down, doing slow motion, doing quite a few different things. But end of the day, you really have to like making videos and editing them, because that's a lot of time. You got all the time of filming, like I'm doing right now, and then you got to download all the stuff into your computer. Insta360 has a phone app, so you can actually edit it in the phone. It's it's a little faster, but it's not what I like to do. I like to use the computer, have more control over it. And I'm not making a whole bunch of videos that are like cell phone friendly. I'm making videos for YouTube. But yeah, it takes a lot of time. It's all the time filming, then all the time editing, and you're not getting paid for it. Now, and I just mentioned pay, so let's just touch on that real quick. So I do get paid. I've got over 1,000 subscribers. It took me a really long time, and that's for a lot of reasons. One reason being, like I said, I don't chase the algorithm. I just film what I want. Like this video I'm filming right now, it's probably gonna get 80 to 100 views, if that. But that might be 80 people in there that watch it, and of those 80 people, maybe 4 people decide, hey, you know what, I'm gonna get a camera and I'm gonna make some videos. And that makes me happy to know that maybe a couple people will find making motorcycle videos and vlogs and things part of their, like a hobby and fun for them. The other thing is my choice of motorcycle and my age. So I'm, over 50. I've got a BMW. So my audience is people, my demographics is 40-year-old to 65-year-old dudes, for the most part, that like BMW motorcycles. My female viewership is like something, last time I looked, I don't know what it is now. Last time I looked, it was like 0.2%, something like that. So if you're younger, and I hesitate saying this, but I think it's completely true. If you're a young lady, and you're pretty, attractive, have a good personality, and you're riding bikes and you're making videos, you'll probably get a lot of subscribers pretty quickly. And the reason for that is you're going to get a lot of girls that'll watch you because they're thinking about riding a motorcycle, and they'll think you're cool. They're like, oh, this girl's doing it, she's got a cool bike, and I can do it. And I think it's something like 35% at this point of all new riders are ladies. So there's a growing segment of women riders, and they're looking for other like-minded people online. So you get all that. And then you're going to get all the dudes, so you're going to get a bunch of dudes. If you're, attractive young lady and you're making motorcycle videos and stuff, you're going to get a bunch of guys that are going to watch and be like, wow, she's cute, and so you can build up a following pretty quickly. But again, like with me, I really enjoy making, the process of making these little videos and taking like the X3 or the Insta360 video portion together with my cell phone, together with the drone. Some of my bigger videos, I'll have 3 different things I'm using to film. I have to blend those all together, cut them. They're out of sequence. I have to put them in sequence. You can play with the sequence. You can shoot out of order and put it in any order you want once you know how to edit, and no one will know. I mean, a lot of times that's how they shoot movies. They'll shoot the end of the movie first, and then they have the beginning, the middle, all over the place depending on people's schedules and if the character has a beard or doesn't have a beard or those type of things. So that's kind of fun for me. It's interesting. And for me, it's a wonderful hobby. I really enjoy doing it. So if you have that kind of in mind and go into it thinking like this is gonna be a hobby, it's gonna be fun, you'll have a good time. But if you go into it thinking like I'm gonna be narcissistic and being like I'm gonna be famous, I'm gonna make a lot of money, I'm gonna study the algorithm, you can certainly do all that. But I think more often than not, people that try that fail, and then they get fed up, and they don't, once they get deep into it, they don't realize what a time suck it is, how much time you have to actually put into it to make a video. And it's like any hobby, some people like building, model airplanes or model cars or, collecting things. You don't get paid for that. In most cases, it's just something you just enjoy doing, but it does take hours of your time. So that's how you kind of have to go into it. In terms of money, let me kind of circle back to that. My goal, once I realized or understood the process of how do you make money doing this, or how do these people do this, and I found out, well, you need 1,000 subscribers or more, and you need this many watch hours, and blah blah blah. I thought that was kind of unattainable once I started. And again, that goes back to the point where I enjoyed it as a hobby, and I never really cared that much if I didn't make money. But once I was getting closer to that 1,000 mark, I was like, ooh, wait a minute, I'm getting closer to 1,000 subscribers here. I said, you know what, if I can make enough money a year, the 60 to 80 bucks a month would have covered all that, because my bike insurance is, what is it, 600 and change? And it really depends on your bike and your age. So if you've got a sport bike and you're a young guy or young lady, your insurance is going to be a heck of a lot more than 80 bucks a month. But and that's gas too. I will tell you now that I am past that. I make more, and I think from YouTube alone, I think I make probably around $120 to $130 a month from the ad revenue, and that's just based on how many people watch your videos. And that's another thing, that making a video like this, I'm only gonna get 100 views. I'm gonna make like 4 cents from this video or something stupid. So I don't really care. But the other way I make money is once you get enough subscribers where you have a channel and you can make money, you can find companies that will want to work with you and say, hey, if you make a video, we'll give you our product for free. Or someone will say, if you make a video or support our brand or product, if people buy it from you, we'll give you a little discount code so your followers can save a little bit of money, and then also you can make a little bit of money. So a lot of the big YouTubers, that's where they make a lot of their income, is through like affiliate marketing and through selling stuff on the side. to make a full living on Google ad revenue alone, you would have to have a big channel to, you know, qualify that you're making, you know, $70,000 a year or something that's like a full-time job almost. But when you do get that big, you know, that's where that kind of affiliate marketing and merch and all that kind of stuff kind of comes into play, and they can make a lot more money doing that. So for affiliate marketing, I don't have a lot. I work with BT Moto, which does the tunes. I have the BT Moto on my bike, and I did a video about that. You can see it up here on the screen somewhere. And that tune is great. I mean, it really they make tunes for all kinds of bikes, but it just you know, it you know, kind of remaps your ECU, balances the bike out, torque and horsepower, all that good stuff. It's done. You know, if you're interested, watch my video, because I go in, you know, to detail about what the tune did to my bike. But they give me a little bit of a kickback, a tiny percentage. But the important thing is they also give the viewers, like, if you're interested in doing it, use my code Texas2Tires, and they give you I think it's 5% off. And most of the tunes are about $800 to $900, so it's going to save you about $40 to $50. You know, that's something, right? So I do make a little bit of money from that, and I also used to work with Chigee. I kind of still do to some degree, but they remove the benefit to the consumers, so I don't really sell anymore. Prior to that, a lot of people were buying this from me. And again, if you're interested in that Chigee thing, go on there. You can see the video. I'll put it up here somewhere. It's like a 3-part series showing how I moved from quad lock, how I got rid of my quad lock, and why I didn't like the quad lock anymore, and the problems I had with it, and remounting the BMW bracket and putting the Chigee in it. You know, it's like a 3-part series. So that was pretty cool. I'm proud of that little series, and ended up selling quite a few of those units for that company, and they gave me a little commission. So that's, you know, you get your Google ad revenue, which comes from Google. Then you got your affiliate marketing stuff, you know, so you can, you know, have a little channel that's making you $300 a month, you know, $200, $300 a month extra. So now we're talking about not only your insurance, but we're also talking about all of your gas for the bike, and maybe even some, you know, partial payments for the loan if you have a loan on the bike. And then, you know, as you get better at it, you can figure out different angles of which you want to focus on. I focus on nothing. So I have walk around and review videos. I have test ride videos. I have videos, you know, with my buddies riding out for breakfast. I have videos like this where I just talk to you about a topic. I've got moto social videos where I go to a, you know, big bike meetup and walk around, check out the bikes, and interview people. So I'm kind of all over the place, where, you know, I think the motorcycle YouTubers that have the biggest following and make the most money are going to be 2 different types of people. One of them is all they do is bike reviews. That's all they do, is go show you the latest bike, or a cool bike, or an odd bike, walk around, talk about it, take it for a ride, you know, give you their opinions, and that's all they do. And that's all the followers expect of them. And they can get a really good following and get a lot of views on those, because each one of those bikes they ride, there's somebody out there that either has one or is thinking about buying one. So that's a good service, you know, to the followers. And then the other big one would be like personalities, people that just record like their life with their bike, like Itchy Boots, or, you know, there's a bunch of other ones that just kind of record their bike life, what they do. Similar to me, but the focus of their channel is that person who, you know, the person that runs the channel. That's the focus. And now, so people have to, if you're going to do that, you have to have kind of a magnetic personality, and, you know, something that, you know, you have charisma, and, you know, to pull people in and want to follow you. I think those are the 2 main categories, and I don't follow that kind of formula. I'm just all over the place. Again, keeping in mind, this is my own personal bike diary, and if you don't like my video today, maybe you'll like 3 videos down the road, I'll have one that you like. But that's it. I think that's kind of, you know, and I just keep doing it. I've got over 500 videos. I got a lot of videos, and you know, a good portion of those videos are going to be, you know, local videos. So it's kind of only relevant to the local riding population here, or people that are interested in Texas. You know, like they've never been here before, and they ride motorcycles in another country, and they just like, well, you know, what does Texas look like where, you know, where he lives, and what's the riding conditions. And I do that a lot. I'll watch videos of people that are in Europe, that live in Europe and ride motorcycles in Europe, and you know, I really enjoy watching, because I've never ridden motorcycles in Europe, so I like watching, like, wow, look at that in Italy or Switzerland, or you know, all over the place. Like, look at the roads, or the, you know, the environment they're riding around in. That's really cool. And I've made some friends overseas because of the channel, which is nice. But I'm here right now in little downtown Georgetown, which is a cool little place. It reminds me, there's a courthouse right here on my right hand side, and it reminds me of Back to the Future, the little town that he was in with the clock tower, the very first Back to the Future. So let me see if I can get around here and get a picture or a view of it. So there's the little town hall with the clock tower up on top. This is a fun little town here. Anyways, let's wrap this up. Thanks a bunch for joining. Appreciate it. Any questions on doing these, you know, making videos or audio setup and all that stuff? If you have any, let me know. I'll do my best to answer and help you out. And anybody watching has suggestions for me, like, oh God, why doesn't he do this, or why doesn't he have that equipment, or why, you know, open ears here. I'm very much open to suggestions. There's a little Honda 350, it looked like. All right, yep, wrap it up. So that's it. Thanks for joining again. Thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already done so. I know, gosh, like 80% of people that watch my videos don't subscribe. They just check out what they need and blast off. And it's free to subscribe. I think everyone knows that. And like I said, if there's a chance that you liked this video, you might like other videos I do. And if you're subscribed, it'll let you know, like, hey, Texas Two Tires is a new video. And then you look at the little thumbnail with the title, and you think, no, I'm not interested in that. Or like, oh, that's cool. What's he up to? Where did he go? And then, you know, check it out. But that's it. Thanks a bunch. Thumbs up, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Thank you. Goodbye. See you next time. Later.